Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Elaine's Extreme Paranormal channel. Tonight we have two very special guests. We have Charles Anthony and Paul WYROSTEK from their program. I'm sorry. The name of your program is
Point of Ascension.
Point of Ascension. I'm sorry. And they will also be discussing spiritual mediumship. So thank you very much for coming, gentlemen. If you'd like to tell the audience a little bit about yourselves, that would be great. Welcome.
Definitely, yeah. Glad to be here. I'm going to let Paul go first.
Thank you for having me. And, well, Paul WYROSTEK, I'm a spiritual healer, intuitive healer, a medium, channeler of healing. And what I've been experiencing, not just spirit activity, but all energy activity, pretty much my whole life. So once I went through all the darkness that I grew up in, and I met my teachers, and I got healed and cleared from all the layers, and that's when I realized, had my awakening, that I will be a channeler of healing, and that everything I went through was knowledge to learn. So now I work with a team of ascended masters, angels, and we heal people from all, energy issues, from everything from hauntings to physical, energetic, spiritual blocks. That's about what I do in a nutshell.
Great.
My name is Charles Anthony. I just recently awakened within the last few years. Basically, in a nutshell, I am a coach. Here within the last, I would say 7 to 8 months, I've really started to open up even as far as spiritual mediumship. I'm an author. And I'm really excited to be on your Elaine. It's been a long time. It's really nice to actually get to meet you and discuss, whether it be the paranormal, spirituality, or anything like that. So I just want everybody to know that I'm very excited to be here. And if you get a chance, check out Point of Ascension on YouTube and check out Point of Ascension Circle of Friends on Facebook.
Nice.
Okay, right on. Thanks very much. So, okay, as far as your program goes, how long have you had your program on the air for?
Well, we're on our 15th show, and it seems like we just started, and it's been a whirlwind right from the very beginning. Once Chuck asked me to be on the show as a co-host, because I was a guest on past shows of his, so we've known each other for maybe 2-3 years, I think it's been. So, and we always knew we were part of the same tribe. Was from the same light. So, be a co-host on the show, and ever since then, it's been a whirlwind for both of us, and it's the show Point of Ascension Circle of Friends. Facebook it's a community that we've decided to bring together. So for like-minded people who have experiences that are drawn by their higher self, have a place to go to where they can express everything that they're going through without feeling strange, and to get answers from other people that have had these things happen. So Chuck's higher self and my higher self have teamed together to create this show.
That's great.
I'll tap in just a little bit. I've actually been podcasting or on video now for I'm starting my 4th year. I actually started way back when doing some YouTube videos and podcasting, and then eventually moved to several different formats. But I tell you what, Point of Ascension is one of those shows that Paul and I are able to really spread our love and light and what we do as far as spiritual mediumship to a whole new level. And the sky's the limit with such a broadcast. And we have such a great listening base. We really appreciate it.
That's right.
Well, that's good. It sounds like you've got a lively group of people that join you on the Facebook page and also on your shows as well.
That's right.
Great. So, okay, as far as your spiritual mediumship goes, what would you like to discuss there? What kind of things do you do with that? Like tarot card readings, or?
I do. I do several different types of spiritual mediumship. I like to focus on, any. I call them astral predators and things such as that. I also do, tarot card reading, and also I do spirit reading. So I do 3 different types of reading, but I do like to focus on healing those in need, and definitely helping people that are struggling with the darkness, much like I did, those few years back. We're in constant dread and fear and all that good stuff when the darkness was really surrounding me. And, being able to meet somebody like Paul to kind of point me in the right direction, and also to have Christ punch me in the back of the head, and also, Archangel Michael, it helps.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, it's really to be able to help people, and especially going through all the things in the dark that we've gone through. When the universe knows our higher selves, our masters and angels that come to work with us. It's really they know what to do. They know what needs to be healed, and they also know where to bring certain people. Like all of my clients, I know that they're brought to me from either oneness. So when every client I can hear, they tell me what they've experienced, and I have lived it before. And that's when you really get that amazing feeling of helping. That none of it was for nothing, and that if you can just shine the light to people and give them information and the relief that they get, not only when the energy that's attached to them is released, but it's the peace of mind that really makes this work the best.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you. Like, I know myself, when I have the feeling that I know I've helped someone, I feel better myself too, because I know I've done something good, or I've done something the right way. But yes, it is definitely the good Lord that does all the work. He's just using us as the tool to accomplish it. That's how I feel.
And staying humble and realizing, when people tell me, how great I am, or a healer, it's like, well, I'm not the healer. I am the channeler of healing. So it's always about just staying humble. It's my team that does it. They chose me before I even came here. So you can tell that the channelers that are full of ego, and unfortunately there are many of them that are. And follow your heart when you're picking somebody that is going to do energy work on you, or even look into your energy, because you will be drawn. If you're truly looking for help, you will be brought to the right person that is honest and that is of the light.
And just to jump in there, I got to pull out these headphones because I talk 100 miles an hour anyway, and I'm hearing just a bit of an echo. But at the end of the day, I have to say thank you to Source Energy, my spiritual team, angels, and especially Jesus Christ. And I'll just throw this out there: as soon as I brought Christ to my team, faithfully, I can't think that things couldn't be better as far as from a spiritual standpoint, as far as getting correct.
And that's very important too. What Chuck said too, when he chose to bring in Jesus Christ into his healing energy, into his life, and it's important for people to know that you have to give permission to God or to universal oneness, angels and masters, and in order for them to come in, because they can't even break your free will and free choice. So it's these people want help. It's important that they reach out, and the only way that can happen is these people have to be ready to receive these healings. They really have to be ready in their heart and their spirit, and their soul has to be ready. So it's God's love and healing is always right there, but it's us as humans that have to stand up and say, we're ready. We want the healing, and God, here we are.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Like on investigations ourselves, I know for a fact that some people say when they're investigating, well, we did so and so and we did such and such, but no, it's not really us that does it. It's the good Lord that does the work. So I mean, we got to give Him credit where credit's due, I think.
Right.
Absolutely, and I go back to the time period when I was really starting to open up after my dad passed away. It was April 30th, 2010, and I kind of did things all the wrong ways. I was reaching out for my dad, and I wanted to speak to him so bad that I was willing to basically take some risks, and I didn't know anything about investigations or anything like that. I just wanted to talk to my dad again. And what eventually happened is I brought in these astral predators, and with no inkling as to what was going on, and I experienced a plethora of darkness by doing so. So I do throw this out there. When people lose a loved one or whatever, and you want to communicate with that loved one, be sure that you go out and find you a spiritual medium, or ask God, let them come through, because that's truly what's important. When you just dive out and you're just reaching, basically reaching out, throwing kind of a match or whatever, it's definitely the wrong thing to do.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. 100%. And we're here for people. So if they want to go out and do that and experience, and Chuck did it, I did it. So we are on our own paths, and we are meant to be experiencing certain things, but we don't want to stretch ourselves into danger. It's dangerous enough coming into spirituality and awakening without too many astral predators, jumping on you, than to go jumping into danger as well. But, for each their own, and we're here to help.
And, Elaine, looking back on those, those moments, when I thought that my dad was coming through, when in fact it wasn't my father, it was something else entirely. I can tell you that now that I have opened up, with the light, with source energy, with my higher self, I can tell the difference today, with my dad versus way back when I thought it was my dad and it wasn't.
So it was someone like impersonating your dad? Is that what you mean, like a demonic presence or evil?
Yes. I like I said, I don't use the word demonic loosely, but I have experienced several different things that are basically hard to explain, and yeah, it's a little bit different.
This is how I like to explain it to people, that if you can imagine a spirit at one end of the spectrum, and then you imagine a demon at the other end of the spectrum, you could count on at least 1,000 to 10,000 different variations of darkness in between the two. So there's so many different kinds. To me, I don't even focus on what it is. To me, it doesn't even matter. Where in the spectrum, doesn't matter. I see things simple as, if it's negative or if it's a low vibration energy, get rid of it.
Right. And, you know, kind of like Paul says, I think it's important not to even throw those names out there, especially when you're working, through source energy, and it's very pertinent to make sure that you're using your team and source energy and the ascended masters and the archangels to allow them, or for the information to come through them, versus using you as a vessel. Because if you use you as a vessel, that's where you're going to pick up a lot of those attachments.
Do you find, like I did when I had problems with different entities and presences when I was growing up in that haunted house, do you find that was more or less a stepping stone to what you're doing now? It more or less.
Absolutely. I look back and 3-4 years ago, and a lot of the experiences that I experienced back then, I thought, well, what the heck's going on? I mean, is this some form of spiritual attachment? Is this oppression? What is this? But at the end of the day, what I've truly found through a lot of a lot of great friends that are in the spirituality makeup or in the paranormal realm, this truly was an awakening. It was a test on my opening, as far as being able to do what I'm doing today. I truly believe that today. But if you would have said that back 3-4 years ago, Elaine, I would have laughed and said, "Oh, you're crazy, man. This thing's chasing me."
I know. I felt the same way when I was growing up with it. So I know what you're saying.
Yeah, to go through that, I wouldn't change it for the world, but I wouldn't want to do it again.
No. No. I do utilize those past experiences, Elaine, and what I really, what it's all about, what my purpose in life is, or what I'm looking for is to help people that went through similar experiences and help them along their own divine paths.
I know what you're saying, and it's kind of hard at the time when you're going through that to really ascertain just what the heck is happening. But then once you do, it seems to everything kind of falls into place. That's what I found.
Absolutely. Paul and I have, one of our clients, I'm not going to mention his name, but he's from here in Iowa, and he's opening up and he's going through all this run of the mill stuff that's taking place. And I don't mean to chuckle. My name is Chuck, but I don't mean to chuckle, but when I look at all of his experiences that he's going through, I look back and say, hey man, I've been there. I understand. but at the end of the day, if you haven't experienced it, you're like, holy crap, what's going on?
That's right. It's so crazy. When the student's ready, the teacher will come type of thing. And it really is, like Chuck said, it's such a pleasure. And I was doing the same thing. It's just, I remember back in the day when I was experiencing that, ha ha ha. And to them, they're like terrified. But we have to learn. We have to trip. We have to stumble. We have to fall. We have to get back up and do it again and again and again. But that's how you truly, truly learn how to recognize these energies with other people. And it's how would we know what an entity feels like if we didn't experience one?
Exactly.
How do we know what the spirit feels like if we haven't experienced one? And on and on and on. So that's what really made it all worth it. And when people do come up and they're having these experiences, it's probably one of the best feelings of doing this work is, I explain it like they're lost in the woods, in the wilderness, and I could see their light of their heart center. That's all I could see is this little candle light, and they're lost in the woods. But I I lived in those woods for 35 years, so I know every nook and cranny and tree stump and hole in the ground. So I go in, grab them by the hand and say, come on, I know where you are. And as we're walking out, this is where the student clients come in. And as we're walking out, session after session after session, as the weeks go on, I'm showing them what's in the dark. You know, hey, this over here that you're experiencing, this is, hey, this, look, this is what this is. So they're safe because we're going into this environment together as a teacher, student. So, and this is where not only do they get cleared of the energy, but they build up their confidence, they build up their energy, they reconnect with their higher self layer by layer, because it's all like layer of an onion, this work. And then eventually they get out of the forest and they have all the tools for themselves. And it's an honor, it's a pleasure. It's like my teacher said, Paul, when you shine, I shine.
Yeah, I know when I was a kid, it terrified me. But as I started to develop to become an adult, it didn't terrify me as much. And that's when I more or less decided, well, gee, I want to see what I can do to help other people who've gone through the same thing. So, yeah, I know what you're saying and where you're coming from.
You know, I look back at a couple of experiences, especially early on, when I was trying to cleanse, the room, the house, the basement. And, you know, some of the stories, you know, they go all the way back to using holy water. And as I was throwing the holy water, it sounded like psst, 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 you know. So, you know, I've definitely been run through the gamut. I do understand, you know, the differences in spirits, and you can feel them. You can feel them in your bones, is the easiest way that I can really explain it. You know, I didn't even mention that a lot of times I pick up on a lot of physical ailments. So I have had physical mediumship kind of open up. And sometimes, Elaine, when I'm doing a physical mediumship or a spiritual reading, all of a sudden I feel the person's ailment or the entity, or I won't even say entity, spirit's ailments. And sometimes it's rather bizarre.
Yeah. Well, myself, I'm an empath, so I know what you mean. Like, yeah, as an empath, you really do get to feel what people are going through. You sympathize with them, but you do empathize because you know exactly how they're feeling. Exactly,
and I do want to say this. You know, as far as your spirit, your higher self, Elaine, I feel very comfortable, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I don't always feel this comfortable.
Oh, thank you.
That's right. Yeah, very centered energy.
Thank you. That's nice to hear.
Yeah. Well, that's part of the awakening process. That's part of when you are reconnecting with your higher self and on your true path. There's this seated feeling that I think is one of the best aspects of this path, of being on the path of your higher self, is the feeling of being comfortable in your own skin. 100%.
I agree. 100%. Yes, because I know for years I fought against the idea, and I thought, oh no, there's something mentally wrong with me, and I kept fighting it and fighting it and fighting it, and it wasn't until I really realized and accepted that yes, I am an empath and worked with it instead of against it, then things started to fall into place, and I feel an awful lot more comfortable myself.
Right. Yeah.
I feel that I can help people.
I think I think eventually, you know, kind of my aha moment was, and I have to throw this in time and time again, is when I brought in my ascended master, whom I really rely on, Jesus Christ. And as soon as I really opened up to him, and by the way, he's with us all, and we knew that to begin with. But as soon as I brought him in play again, I'm telling you, I did feel comfortable in my own skin. That doesn't go to say though that that life's, you know, like a bunch of, you know, pearly rainbows and it's lollipops and rainbows, however you want to call it. I do find that I'm on a constant battle to ground myself. I'm on a constant battle to clear myself, and you know, as I continue to develop, it gets a little tougher.
Yes, and it's just like the old saying with the elevator: you still have your ups and your downs.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't want to go down. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
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 So have you experienced as far as dealing with people who have dreams and they ask you to interpret, or do you do that kind of a thing?
I do some dream interpretation, and I'm my kind of, I don't know whether you want to call it expertise, because I by no means am I saying I'm an expert in anything. I am an expert in finding Christ and utilizing my team. I'll just throw that out there. But a lot of times your dreams are the open center of your reality, and it can tell you whether or not you're grounded. It can tell you whether or not you're going through a tough time. It can also tell you there are times when you astral project, you can go to the Akashic records and basically designate and find out what's going on, with a past life issue that could in turn help you in this one.
Yeah, Chuck actually did that, and I'm trying to remember, Chuck, how long was it between you brought me to the Akashic records and you had severed some past life karma or something like that, wasn't it? That was holding me back. And that was probably right around the time we started the show, I believe, right? And right from there, boom, my life changed, and client after client, everything just shifted. So I highly recommend that people have Chuck do some past life severing of any cords or attachments or contracts or anything like that, or changes, because that was an absolutely amazing experience. Now that I think about it that way now, and I'm like, ever since then, everything's been amazing.
Yeah, Elaine, anytime that I'm going to do contract work, it appears that sometimes there are many blocks, as far as, some of my clients, they'll say, oh, I'm busy, I can't do this, or something always comes up. But when we truly go and we take care of those soul contracts in the Akashic records, and we personalize and we start anew, it really opens the higher self up even higher than you can possibly imagine. So yeah, I do recommend that. I don't do a lot of it, but I do some as far as work with basically helping with the altering of records that can take place, whether or not we know it or not.
Mm-hmm. Like, I know it's for me, because it seems that I can quite often determine the meaning of dreams for other people, but for my own, I'm kind of at a loss. So I don't know.
Sometimes it's kind of that adage, do as I say, not as I do. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, it's definitely one of those things. And Paul and I rely on each other, and quite often, and other folks, that's helped us along the way. And I think that's truly important, is to find your foundation, of where you can get answers, where you're in a situation where you don't feel like you're going to be ridiculed for your question or your understanding. And I think that's truly what Point of Ascension Circle of Friends has really become, is a safe haven for people to ask questions and like-minded individuals. I will say that I'm not spending nearly enough time getting back to a lot of the people on there, but just know, everybody with Point of Ascension Circle of Friends or anything like that we all love you very much.
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry, Paul, go ahead.
We're just super grateful for everybody in the Circle of Friends, and it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And when we're sitting back and we're watching the creation of it happen, and it's just to help people with this, everything that's going on has been nothing but a blessing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you. I find it the same way too. I know for years I used to think of it as more or less a curse of some kind, because fighting against it all the time, I just couldn't figure it out. And then once I decided to accept it, things did fall into place. And of course, as you say, you do have to put Jesus first. There's no two ways about it.
That's right. And as far as the dreams, I constantly have. I'll go into states of these dreams regularly. Like, for example, last night I was dreaming of people who died in the fire down the road about a half a mile from here. So I woke up experiencing my emotional system felt as if I had experienced that, because it doesn't know the difference that you're dreaming, or whether you're dreaming or it's a vision or whatever it is. Your emotional system still feels that. So I have to wake up, and now I wake up in a whole different place than I was when I went to bed. So now I have to center myself. I have to ground myself. I have to take salt baths. I have to clear my energy, whatever it takes to get those layers off. And then I'm so tired from not sleeping well last night that I took a nap, and instantly I'm the first one on the scene of a horrible motorcycle accident, and I'm the first one to walk up to the body. So sometimes the dreams could be in the astral plane like that, and they're showing me the spirits are showing me how they died. Or I'll go to, places where it is just dreaming, yet more of a vision from your higher self, and it's showing like certain things, like emotions, emotions being released. So there is a lot of healing that also can be done in dreams as well, and that's really when our mind and our subconscious, I guess, can really just come out and express itself. But usually what I feel with dreams is you don't have to look too deep. When you have the dream, the answer is pretty close to right there. It may not be literally. It doesn't mean I'm going to see somebody in a motorcycle accident, but it's usually something that's just offset from that. Well, it's a spirit that had a motorcycle accident. Or, okay, I had a dream of whales in the water. And I'm a water element, so I know that there's deep emotional, say, issues that'll be coming out at the time. So it's either little warnings or just little confirmations of it. But also too, a lot of dreams why people have problems putting them together or figuring out what it is, it's because they may come in sections. I'll have dreams over a year, and it takes at least over a year for some of them to put the whole puzzle together, right? Or to get, the dream starts coming into this mansion, and then you get more and more into it and more and more into it. And a year later, I finally get to the destination, the darkest part of the top floor. And whatever reason, the dream stops, and I feel like there's something healed. So it could be past life stuff too.
There are sometimes that I'm dreaming and I wake up and I'm like, come on, I want to go back. But there's a lot of times that, I don't want to experience. Every time that I seem to be veering off my spiritual path, I have the same dream where I'm walking in the ashes. Basically all the vegetation's gone. I'm alone. I'm walking through and I see three crosses. And I've had this dream ever since I was in my early 20s. So I've had it over and over and over again. Luckily, I haven't had this dream in several months, which is telling me that I am on the right path.
Mm-hmm. Sometimes, like I've had dreams, like repetitive dreams, especially where I'm on this gorgeous, absolutely beautiful yacht, and my family's there. Like both my parents have passed, you know what I mean. But in the dream, my parents are there. We're on this beautiful yacht, and it's more or less just like gigantic apartments in each section of this yacht. And as each kitchen or whatever gets dirty, we just, okay, we'll go on to the next one. And it's just fun. It's really beautiful. And I can't figure that out. I've had that repetitive dream. I couldn't tell you how many times. Strange.
Elaine, Spirit's telling me right away that this is your visit to the Akashic records. This is your point of emphasis. This is your point of learning. And every time that you have that dream, you tend to open up even a little bit more with your abilities, correct?
I guess so. I haven't really looked at it that way, but that's quite possible. Like I'm not frightened by it or anything like that. It just seems like a very, very pleasant dream. And yet when I wake up, I know that it was a dream, but it was so pleasant, I just didn't really want to come out of it,
Yeah.
That's right. And then, then I have the dreams a lot to where they're hijacked. I call them, I'm dreaming, I'm doing my thing, everything's cool. And then I can feel this. Dun, 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 dun. It's just this little derailing a little bit, and all of a sudden I stumble on this situation, and people are aware of me, and something's weird, and nobody's helping. So I feel I need to do the right thing, and I'll help, and I'll get myself in this situation, and all of a sudden they're blaming me for everything, and now I'm spending the whole rest of the night trying to get out of it.
Yeah, weird. Like, speaking of derailment, I've had numerous repetitive dreams too of trains derailing. Like, I see them.
Wow.
Yeah, I see the trains derailing, and the colors of the trains are usually yellow or orange. And yet, like, I'm not on the train, but I witness it.
Yeah. Interesting.
What that means, but strange.
Yeah, what I would think is of either being off of your own path, or fear that you're not on your path. Feel like you're missing something, and then you got to go by your own instinct of what it feels right for you, right? Because that's really what it is. It's asking before you go to bed too. Ask the guides, Jesus, universal oneness, your higher self, to bring you the information in a way that you can understand it. In that, if there's anything, and I have to keep reminding myself too, like after the dreams I've been having tonight, I really have to put a lot of intent that the astral plane around me, that I'm in my own little bubble so I can sleep, because we all have the right to sleep. And put the intent that everything keeps its distance.
Uh-huh. And what about dreams too, where you have people who in real life are really miserable towards you, but in the dream they're quite pleasant? I don't know, quite often I've thought, well, maybe it's because you want them to be more pleasant, or could it be that they might just eventually turn around? But these are particular people that, darn well are not going to turn around. That's
Right.
weird too.
You're seeing their higher self. You're seeing the true them without all the pain, the fear, the triggers, the emotional triggers to react from fear. And that's usually what the people who aren't nice, they're just like these little explosions of trying to protect themselves, and these imbalances of energy.
Yeah. And like dreams of being back in school. I have had so many dreams where I'm back in public school, and then yet I'm an adult. And I've had dreams where I'm in high school, and I'm just walking through the halls.
Late for class, right? And you can't find the class, and you just keep...
Sometimes I can't find the class, and sometimes I'm walking through the halls, not really doing anything in particular. But I'm walking high school.
Yeah. Well, Chuck being a teacher, what is that, Chuck? Does that mean, I still am failing?
Well, no. At the end of the day, it's your higher self wanting to connect more with your childlike reflexes, what I'll call it. When we see the world as it is through a child's eyes, we see the world differently. We see a wonderful place, of discovery, a wonderful place of of mystery and all that sort of thing. And I think truly at the end of the day, even as we grow older, we still want to see the world, like a child, and experience those great things. And there are far too many times in adulthood that we are basically put in this situation where we feel we have to act or go in a certain matter, and sometimes we're afraid of change or dynamic shifts. But at the end of the day, see the world as it truly is through a child's eyes.
Okay. And I know what you're saying there to quite a good degree. I remember when we were kids, we used to have an awful lot of fun in the snow, and we used to just love it. And I always used to wonder why Dad hated the snow so much. Well, now as an adult and years later, I understand why.
Yeah.
I totally agree. It's just one of those. It's one of those situations where, there's far too many times, especially as we continue to age, that I don't know. Sometimes we get in that rut where we're so busy and we're doing day-to-day things that that we have a hard time focusing in and honing in on our younger adolescent energy, which truly is still in our heart. It's in our heart chakra. And as we open that up, it's amazing the burden and the relief. You know, I'll say the relief of burden and those sorts of things. It's very exciting.
Yeah.
Right.
No doubt. Then, of course, there's dreams of elevators. Have you ever had a dream when you're on the elevator and it's going sideways?
No, but you know, that I think truly that's something to learn from. You know, where you feel like you're not ascending.
That's what I'm thinking, that I'm like you're staying on one level, you're not growing, kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's one of those things where anytime that you have those dreams, when you wake up, say, Lord, you know what, I'm going to open up and I truly want to ascend and get higher. You know, my old football coach says the most amazing stuff sometimes, you know, so that stuff that's really gruff and a little bit stupid. But anyway, I have to quote him. You're either getting better or you're staying the same. You know, those are the only two things that can really possibly happen.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. That's right. And we always want to keep heading back to light, heading to the higher vibration. And, you know, it's even with the dream thing, it's recognizing what it means to you. You know, because I remember spending so much time researching all these books until I literally felt energetically sick because I wasn't getting the answers. You know, every book had a different answer. And what I discovered, what I teach my students too, is that it's not opening up to see what's there. It's you're already experiencing everything that's there. It's figuring out what it means to you. So it's experiencing these things over and over and over again until you start to say, okay, this is what I'm thinking this means for me, you know, and that's when a student is really starts to really that's when you can start to really trust and open up and say, okay, you know, I'm different, I'm unique, I pick up things completely different, and embracing the fact that you're completely unique in your abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I get what you're saying. So anything else that you folks would like to add to the show tonight?
You know what? I'm kind of a shameless, you know, I do like to talk about my book.
That didn't take long.
No, I will throw this out there. Paranormal Experiences, Death, the Final Frontier. You can get it on Amazon if you're in Canada. I am doing a deal. It's $15 and it's signed, sealed, delivered, and mailed to anywhere in the United States. If I do ship it to Canada, it'll probably be just a little bit more because of the shipping difference. But it's a great book. It talks about a lot of the crud and the darkness that I went through to get to this point, and I just have to throw that out there. The book is available, and Paul and I are currently writing a book entitled Point of Ascension. And when we get that baby written, it's going to blow people away.
Okay.
That's right. Well, we got Iowa. What's the date for the Iowa Metaphysical Fair?
Okay, let me dig that out, because Paul and I actually have two really cool events that are coming up. The first one's in April. It's April 23rd at 10 a.m. And it's in Burlington, Iowa. It's Southeast Iowa Metaphysical Fair. We have several of our Point of Ascension Circle of Friends that are going to be showing up for that, so we're excited about that. Also, in August 5th, Saturday, August 5th, and Sunday, August 6th, we're going to be at the Kansas City Paracon, and that one's going to be kind of a whole new level, and we're excited about it. We're actually going to speak in that one, so that one's going to be pretty wild. It's going to be a great weekend.
Okay. Sounds interesting. But gee, we don't want to hear too much about August yet. That means summer's darn near over.
Yeah, and football season has started again, you know.
All righty. So before we close, is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to, or anything else you would like to add?
You go first.
I'd like to just say, you know, thank you for everybody for listening and for trusting and everybody that's going to listen to the show that's meant to hear it, and for trusting your higher self and trusting your calling and having the courage to actually let everything go, throw everything away, and let yourself be on the path of your highest of good without fear. And all that Point of Ascension Circle of Friends members on Facebook, Point of Ascension on YouTube, and yeah, that's very, very grateful.
I'll give a couple shout outs, especially to my family. They're truly amazing. My grandchild, my 3 children, my wife, everybody with the Point of Ascension Circle of Friends, all of our listeners, all of my clients, Paul, God, Source Energy, and definitely Jesus Christ. I'll throw that out there.
All righty. That's great. Well, thank you so much for being on the show tonight, gentlemen. It was great.
Loved it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All righty. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Charles Anthony and Paul WYROSTEK from the Point of Ascension Circle of Friends. And it was quite an interesting discussion. So if you didn't see us live, please do watch later on after the film has processed and everything is ready to roll. Thank you again, gentlemen, and I hope you have a great evening. Thanks for coming.
You as
Thank
well.
you, Elaine. Take care.
All right. You take care, eh? God bless.
All right, you too. Bye.